Yo, I got a Swordsoul list for you that ended up going 3-1 at locals. Not gonna lie, the list is kinda shit, and the locals was pretty fake, as much of the good decks were away at Nats, but whatever. I'll try and explain why I was on what I was on, and what I'd change in the future. For the Swordsoul monsters, 3 Moye, 2 Taya, 3 Longwan. This is the pretty standard ratio of these monsters. Usually Taya is cut down to 2 because he can be a little more awkward to use as a starter, being an ignition effect that already needs a wyrm or Swordsoul card to have hit the graveyard, but I felt generally he was the best starter and plays way safer into draw, and being able to send Ashuna is better than ever with Saruya being in the deck. Longwan, I don't know, man. I was opening hands that were like Longwan plus Vishuda going first frequently, which was like nothing pass. It's a Synchro 10 that doesn't really like do anything proactively. It's pretty dog shit by modern standards if that's your end board. I was getting a similar feeling to Crystron Tristeros, where it's like, yeah, this is like the best card in my deck, but I wish I'd stop opening him by himself every game. It's such a good extender for the deck. Like, there's no way you play 2 of it, but like maybe something to try. Maybe it's just something to try out, even if it's gross. For the Tenyis, I'm on 3 Ashuna, 2 Vishuda, 3 Saruya, 1 Shithana, and 2 Adhara. These cards are still really good. They offer you additional ways to make Synchro 8s, they can give you nib protection, they're great extenders. Vishuda basically outs any board. Saruya is the newer one that says if you control a wyrm, she summons from the hand, and if she's used as Synchro material for a wyrm, she summons a Tenyi link for free, basically, for life points. Important to note, the monster she summons can't be used as link material ever. It can kind of come up sometimes, but this card is phenomenal. If your starter gets impermed, you just go boom, special Saruya, that's an 8. You're good to go. Also, one of the Tenyi links is just a monster reborn, so Saruya plus Taya is just gorgeous. I decided Saruya was so good that I chose to cut Ecclesia entirely. My test hands with Ecclesia, I wasn't feeling the card at all. It seemed way too susceptible to Ash and Fua and just felt like an incredibly weak starter, as well as just not being better than a hand trap going second. Like, what would you rather have against a Malice opponent, for instance? Another engine piece that's getting banished or negated, or a hand trap that maybe was just enough to stop their combo? That was my idea, but in practice, I was breaking like shit, constantly wishing every single round that the hand traps I added to replace Ecclesia were Ecclesia. Yeah, like round 1 up against Lab, I managed to get to a game state where he has nothing left he can do, and I just need to draw any engine whatsoever, and I top deck Veiler. A card that was never good throughout this locals. I thought about siding 3 copies of Ecclesia for going second, but again, it just didn't make sense when my thinking is like, engine is good enough, as is, I just need to stop my opponent from playing. Big mistake. Anyway, for the last wyrm in the deck, Protoss, which is a big reason I wanted to play the deck in the first place, to fuck Mitsurugi. For the hand traps, 3 Ash, 3 Bell, 3 Droll, 2 Veiler, and 3 Imperm. I chose these hand traps because I didn't want to play Nib with Tenyis, and I didn't main deck Fualos for a few reasons. It's just been generally very mid at my locals. After having played it for weeks at this point, against a deck like Mitsurugi Ryzeal, you're still going to have to play against 50 interruptions, and you probably got like 2 draws. Fua is great to have when you like lose the die roll against Malice or like some Fiendsmith pile, but it's pretty infrequent that that happens at my locals, which was like half Mitsurugi, a couple Malice players, some other better rogue stuff, and then the rest is just decks where Fua is completely dead, like Regenesis, Stun, Eldritch, or Lab. I also just feel like certain decks can't afford to have a dead card in their hand going first. Like, the worse your engine is, or the more vulnerable it is to hand traps, the less you want to main deck Fualos. Because it's just better to play a hand trap that, like, actively does something after you get stopped. I will say this, though. I don't own Perulia. If you have Perulia, this deck is pretty good at going second. Like, it's probably the best way to play the deck is to just play, like, 6 to 9 Maxi, blind second, Storm Vishuda, just fucking kill him. I would just cut Veiler and add the 3 Ecclesia back in, though, for the future. In this case. Moving on to the spells, 3 Emergence, Tenyi Infinity, Vessel Heavenly. These cards are so good that I really wanted to play more than one of each, but in test hands I kept opening these cards by themselves, and they just have no effect. Vessel is really good at getting you to the nib protection line, while Heavenly is really good at dodging hand traps like Imperm, while also just searching or sometimes summoning any wyrm from your deck. Usually, Heavenly is how you access Protoss. Tenyi Infinity is one of the newer cards. It's a searchable field spell that adds Vessel or Heavenly on activation. It can also tribute a wyrm to pop a monster on the field, even your own, so I guess you could pop your own Chao Fang in some weird lines to like search Ash Blossom if you really wanted to do that. And it has a third effect to place an okay field spell from deck in the end phase. I like Flawless Perfection with the Tenyi just to get like the Pot of Greed effect, but having this field spell up on turn 3 is still like good. It is removal, and Flawless Perfection is kind of just a brick. Last 3 cards on the deck: Talents, Called By, and Blackout. For the extra deck, 3 Monk, 1 Shaman, Sahasrara. The Link 4 can sometimes be kind of tricky to deal with, but in this locals I just use it to put damage on the board. A copy of Yazi. This is the only monster I didn't summon in my extra deck the whole time, which I figured might happen. I almost cut Yazi for an 11 because the deck can almost always make one. I was torn on playing this, the Psychic End Punisher, or the new guy, the Cursed Thunder God. I'd probably play this one going forward, just because it seems like it would come up more often. 2 Baxia, 2 Shizhao, Mula Adhara. This card searches any field spell on the game on summon as long as you have 2 wyrms in your grave or banishment. He also can't be targeted or destroyed while you have a non-effect monster, and he can attack twice. I did kill someone with the double attack, the rare instance where it doesn't say second attack on monsters. He can just do it. Draco Berserker, Chao Fang, Sinister Sovereign, and Cheng Ying. I really miss Baron, man. These Synchro 10s don't do anything on their own. They're not proactive. I might start playing the new Fabled Synchro that's just a Snatch Steal. It's like tribute a Fabled, take your opponent's monster permanently. That might make Longwan feel a bit better. For the side deck, it is 12 Lingering Floodgates and some back row hate. That's where the game's at. I did have an awkward situation where I Lancia'd my Nemleria opponent, which obviously turn skipped him, but it shuts off my whole deck when I use this card. Like, siding this one in going first, a little awkward. Might not be a good idea against Malice. I don't really know what maybe you add a different card in here for Malice. Like, this didn't really come up. I used Feather Duster. I think I didn't use Fuelos, Lightning Storm, Mistaken Arrest, D-Bear. I actually only used fucking Lancia Duster. And the Duster was fucking inconsequential. It didn't matter at all. So this side is maybe a little capped, to be honest. But again, pretty fake locals. And that's the deck. This is my first time playing the deck since Saruya came out, and it does feel like a lot easier to play, because I remember the last time I played this deck, I was like the fucking guy mashing his keyboard, fucking sweat dripping, and I was playing against like fucking trap tricks at the time, so I don't know. Deck feels a little bit smoother. It's a fun deck. I don't think it's that bad either. I feel like if I had Ecclesia in my deck, maybe you go 4-0. Protoss is kind of broken. Anyway, thanks for watching.